There is a hidden door in your 401k that opens at the age of 55, not 59 and a half. Most people walk right past it because they don't know that it exists. But if you're planning early retirement, this door could save you tens of thousands of dollars in penalties and give you access to your money 4.5 years earlier than you might have thought was possible. Here's exactly what we're covering in today's video, using my three-phase Rule of 55 engineering system. Number one, qualification engineering. Do you qualify and should you use it? Number two, tax engineering. How to optimize your withdrawals. And three, rollover engineering. How to preserve and maximize your access to this coveted strategy. By the end, you'll have a complete decision-making framework for this powerful early retirement strategy to make sure that the door does not close on your access. I'm Bob Wolfe, certified financial planner and IRS enrolled agent. This is not automatic. You have to engineer your qualification. So let's talk about that. The key phrase is calendar year you turn 55. This gives you strategic flexibility. If you turn 55 in December, you could leave your job in January of that year and still qualify. Sometimes what looks like a setback, like having to leave your job, becomes the innovation that enables your early retirement. Now we need to talk about our second point, and this is where most people's strategy falls apart. You can't access old 401ks from previous employers using this rule. But here's the engineering opportunity. If your current plan allows it, you can roll old 401ks into your current plan before you separate. This consolidates your retirement savings under the Rule of 55 umbrella, and this allows you greater access and flexibility if your plan allows it. Which gets us into our third point. Not all plans allow for the Rule of 55 and its distributions. Some plans only allow lump sum distributions, which could create a larger tax impact. This can be found in your summary plan description document, which can be found on your 401k website. So let's go through an engineering checklist here to allow us to see, does this apply to us? Number one, does your plan allow Rule of 55 distributions? You can find this in your summary plan description. Number two, can you take partial withdrawals or only lump sums? Three, are there any plan-specific restrictions? Four, can you consolidate old 401ks before your separation? Before we go any further, I'm just going to address the public safety advantage. If you're in public safety, you can potentially access not at 55, but at 50. This 5-year head start can be significant for early retirement planning. Now, here's where the Rule of 55 gets interesting from a tax engineering perspective. Just because you avoid a 10% penalty does not mean you avoid taxes entirely. Every dollar you withdraw from a traditional 401k or 403b under the Rule of 55 is taxed as ordinary income, both at the federal and the state level. But here's the engineering opportunity. You now control your tax bracket. You are no longer an employee getting one paycheck. You are the CEO of your tax situation. Let's say you need $60,000 per year in early retirement. If this $60,000 withdrawal is your only income, you're comfortably sitting in the 10 to 12% bracket with room to spare. Now, as it relates to withholding, many plans automatically withhold 20% of federal taxes. So on a $60,000 withdrawal, that's $12,000 withheld. Depending on your actual tax liability, you might get more back or owe more. As Morgan Housel notes, expectations are like a debt that must be repaid before you get any joy out of what you're doing. Don't expect to get the full $60,000 to hit your account. Now let's go through a strategic sequence here for decisions. Consider using the Rule of 55 access for early retirement income, ages 55 to 59 and a half. At 59 and a half, you gain penalty-free access to IRAs. So you are allowed to roll that over of the remaining 401k funds into IRAs for better investment options, flexibility, and estate planning. Now, as it relates to partial rollovers, and this is engineering decision point number 2, some plans allow for partial rollovers. You might roll over funds you don't need immediate access to while keeping some in the 401k for the rule of 55 withdrawal access. But be careful. This strategy requires precise planning and plan-specific rules. And here's what shocked me the most in my practice. Indirect rollovers, where you get a check and have 60 days to deposit it elsewhere, can be very dangerous. Miss the deadline by even 1 day, and the IRS treats it as a full withdrawal with penalties and taxes. As John Wooden once said, if you don't have time to do it right, when will you have time to do it over? Get rollover timing right the first time or risk penalties to be paid on it. Now, a lesser known strategy here within our 401k is if your 401k includes company stock, you might be eligible for something called net unrealized appreciation treatment. This can offer significant tax advantages, but rolling to an IRA destroys that benefit. This is a complex strategy that does require professional analysis, but it's worth understanding if you have substantial company stock holdings to raise your antenna and make sure that you're looking into net unrealized appreciation for your benefit. Now, with all of this being said, even perfect qualification can be destroyed by the following common mistakes that we'll go over. And this begins with mistake number 1, the premature rollover. Rolling your 401k to an IRA before or immediately after separation kills the rule of 55 access. In my practice, I've seen people lose access to hundreds of thousands of dollars of access because they rolled over to get better investment options. Mistake number 2, the plan assumption. Assuming that your plan allows for the rule of 55 distributions without checking. Some plans don't allow it. Others allow lump sums, which could create a massive tax bill. Mistake number 3, the Roth rollover reset. Rolling a Roth 401k to a Roth IRA can reset the 5-year clock, potentially making earnings taxable. And mistake number 4, the healthcare gap. Leaving work at age 55 means losing healthcare coverage. And Medicare doesn't start until we're age 65. So COBRA and private insurance can be expensive. Make sure that we're coordinating this with any sort of private or Affordable Care Act tax credit subsidies that we may end up having coming our way if we engineer our income properly. And mistake number 5, the tax impact of taking large lump sums, which can push you into higher tax brackets and affect other benefits. Mistake number 6, focusing only on immediate access without considering our long-term implications. Every dollar withdrawn at age 55 is a dollar not growing for our retirement. Now let's talk about optimizing our tax engineering here. What we need to do is calculate your expected tax bracket in early retirement. Number 2, plan withdrawal amounts to optimize our tax brackets. And this is not just our marginal tax brackets, but our effective tax bracket. Said another way, what additional cost does it take us to pay every $1 extra of earnings that we have? Number 3, understand our withholding implications. 4, consider multi-year tax planning strategies. And this is something I'm very partial towards. Think of the rule of 55 as a bridge between your working years and your full retirement benefits, where ages 55 to 62, the rule of 55 and other savings comes into play. Between 62 and 67, we take into account our Social Security filing strategy. From 67 to 70, we have our full Social Security benefits, and beyond 70, we have our maximum Social Security benefits, our remaining portfolio, and soon, required minimum distributions. Something I frequently find in our early retirement spending pattern is it often follows the following. In our early years, we have higher spending, whether it's travel, activities, gifting. In our middle years, we have lower spending, less active lifestyle. And in our later years, we have higher spending through healthcare. This has been seen as the retirement spending smile. So once we can engineer a rule of 55 withdrawals to match this pattern and take more of an active approach in our early years, will allow us less of a reliance on our portfolio in our middle years to preserve growth and not have us be beholden to forced distributions during years when we might not need the funds when we're required to take distributions. You see, early retirement often means lower income years, and this creates opportunities, whether it be Roth conversions at lower tax rates, realizing capital gains at 0% brackets, early retirement distributions for flexibility. The rule of 55 isn't just about early access to your 401k. It's about engineering flexibility into your early retirement strategy. When used correctly, it can bridge the gap between your working years and traditional retirement, giving you options and control over your financial future. Most importantly, the rule of 55 is but a tool, not a complete strategy. It works best when integrated with your overall early retirement plan, coordinated with all of your other income sources in the future. Are you planning to use this strategy, or do you have questions about how it fits into your early retirement plans? Your questions help drive the content that helps you make better financial decisions. Now, as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.